Welcome to the lecture series in computer science. We are seeing a series of lectures in the subject Python programming. In today's session, we will be seeing a topic on looping or iterative control structure. The contents of today's session we will be saying about the syntax of the while loop, we will be saying the syntax of for loop, and we will as well see how the for loop will really work in the Python shell, and then we will be saying about the range functions in loops, and then we will be seeing about the loop control statements such as the break statement, continue statement, and the pass statement. And we will be saying the purpose of using a break statement, a continue statement, and the pass statements. Now let us now see about the loops. In our previous session we saw about the selection control structure. So here we will be seeing about the iterative control structure. So in the iterative control structure we will be seeing the topics on loops. So these loops repeat a block of statements until a specified condition is true. It is used to continuously execute a set of statements. There are different types of loops. It is broadly classified into two groups. One is called as a loop control structure, other one is the loop control statements. So what is the difference between a control structure and this control statement? In the control structure, it is subdivided into three different types. One is while, other one is for, and the third one is the range function. It determines the range. And as far as the loop control statements are concerned, it is again classified into three types. One is a break statement, second one is the continue statement, and third one is the pass statement. Let us look all these loop control structure as well as the loop control statement in detail. Now as a first iterative loop, we will be seeing the syntax of a while loop. What is a while loop? The while, it repeats a statement or block of statements while a given condition is true. So this will get executed till a given condition is true. It will come out one and only if it becomes false. It tests the condition before executing the body of the loop, and hence this is called as, this while loop is an entry criterion loop. It is as well called as an entry criterion loop. The syntax of the while loop is as follows: while, condition is a variable name, colon, statements. It is a schema or the syntax of while some condition I less than 5, I greater than 3, I equal to 3, colon, statements. My dear viewers, you might be aware of why do we use this colon. When we use this colon, this Python, it detects, it states that, and when you press an enter, automatically the cursor gets indented. So that is the speciality with respect to this Python editor. In the Python shell or in the Python script mode, when I have a colon and when I press an enter, it automatically indents. So this indentation states that it is under this while condition. So this is for while loop. Now next is for the for loop. What is a for loop? For loop, it executes a block of statements for a fixed number of times. Now let us see a Python interactive mode. In the Python interactive mode, how a for loop works on. So as far as this, let us see an example for this for loop. When we are going to see, this is a Python interactive Python shell. This Python shell, what is the shell I am using? I am using the shell 3.8.5. I am using 3.8.5. In the shell, what is this, my dear viewers? What is this 3 greater than symbol called as? Within an interactive mode, this 3 greater than symbol is called as a chevron. This 3 greater than symbol is called as a chevron. So here what happens is that as within the chevron I give the keyword for counter as a variable name, counter in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is my values. You give a colon, and when you press and enter, what happens? It automatically indents. My dear viewers, kindly make a note of it. At the initial point in the for, the cursor was in this position, but after giving this colon and when you press and enter, the cursor got automatically indented, and when you type in, you get the print. It got indented. If you are not going to give the colon, and when you press and enter, what happens? The cursor will be over here itself. It will be under this F. So the position changes. That is the speciality, because in other languages we segregate this or we demarcate such loops or such condition statements using braces. When you work with the C programming, you had braces such as flaw braces, whereas here it get embedded within the flaw braces, whereas in Python you do not use such braces. Instead, this colon demarcates that this particular print is for this particular for loop. So what happens over here? If I am going to give it as for counter in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, close the braces and give a colon, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be taken as an integer value. So when I give print counter, press and enter, what happens actually when you press enter? By default, the next line the cursor will be lying here at this particular position. If you want the output to be seen, what you need to do? You need to give a backspace in your keyboard. When you give the backspace in your keyboard, the cursor goes over here and then press enter again. You get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. 1, 2, when for the first print counter, what will happen? This counter variable, this variable, it will be printed. First the value of 1 will be printed. So 1 is printed. The default thing is new line. If you want to give it in the, if you want it to get printed in the same line, give print comma end equal to, if you give like this, you will get the output something like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or else by default the output will be 1, and second time it goes over here, counter, within counter what is the value? 2 is there, so 2 will be printed. Then 2 will be printed. After printing, counter goes in the variable counter, the value is 3, so when you print counter, 3 will be printed, and then it goes again, the value 4, print counter, so 4 will be printed. Then it goes inside, value is 5, print counter, 5 will be printed. Then it goes, there is no value, so it comes out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will get printed. This is with respect to printing an integer data type. Now if I want to print the characters, if I want to print the string, what should I do? I should embed it within quotes, as I have done like this. Within double quotes G, comma, next double quotes A, comma, double quotes N, comma, double quotes E, comma, double quotes S, comma, double quotes H. So when you are going to do like that, and if I am going to give print counter, it will be printing like this. It will print G, then the new line, because the default is new line. Kindly make a note of it. It is a very important interview point of view question as well examination point of view question. The default of the print statement is new line. So, A will be printed, N will be printed in the new line, E will be printed in the new line, S will be printed in the new line, H will be printed in the new line. Then you do not have any other characters. So, you get this chevron. Chevron is a prompt. You get this Python shell prompt. So, next one is about the range function in loops. So, in the previous slide, we were saying about the basic for loop. How will it get printed? Because here using the loops as far as this Python language is concerned, it is pretty easy when you compare it with the other languages. In all the languages it is the same concept, but usage matters a lot. Here in Python it is very much easy, it is very much readable, very much understandable to the user. So, now let us see the range function in loops. The range function, it is used to iterate over a specific number of times, within a given range in either in steps or in intervals. What does it mean? We will see. In steps or intervals denote how it needs to get incremented or how it needs to get decremented. Let us see the syntax. Range, lower limit, upper limit, increment or decrement. My dear viewers, kindly understand, this range is different from this range. Python is case sensitive. You are supposed to give only small r. Only this small r a n g e is correct. Capital R a n g e is wrong. So, range, open braces, lower limit, comma upper limit, comma increment slash decrement. So, it is used to iterate over a specific number of times within a given range in steps or intervals. Now, let us see the range function, how it works within for. If it is in for value in range 1, 6, you print the value. When you are going to print the value, what did I say? The default is new line. So, as far as the default new line is concerned, when I am going to give it as 1, 6, how did it get indented? It is because of the colon present over here. So, when I am going to give a colon, it automatically indents. So, you get the values as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is, the upper limit will not be printed. That is, it excludes the upper limit. It prints all the values in the given range exclusive of the upper limit. My dear viewers, kindly make a note, it will not print the upper limit exclusive of the, it prints all the values exclusive of the upper limit. Then, as a second example, for value in range 0, 6, 2, you print the value. What happens? It prints the value. As I said in the previous example, it will not be printing the upper limit. My upper limit is said to be 6, right? So, 0 will be printed. 2, what is this 2? It gets incremented by 2. So, 0 plus 2. So, 2 will be printed. Then again, it again gets incremented by 2. 2 plus 2, 4. Then it again gets incremented. 4 plus 2, 6. But 6 will not be printed. Why? Because 6 is said to be the upper limit. So, 0, 2, 4 will get printed. It prints all the values in a given range in increments of 2. Then, next is a similar example of the previous example for value in range 6, 1, minus 2. What does it mean? From 6 to 1 it should get printed and it should get decremented by 2. When you are going to increment it, your lower limit was 0. Kindly make a note of it. When you are going to increment it, your lower limit was at a minimal value. The upper limit was at the higher value. Whereas when you are going to decrement it, the lower limit was fixed at a higher value. Upper limit was fixed at a lower value. And then you are decrementing it, which means in my earlier example it printed in means of 0, 2 and 4, whereas here it is printing as 6, 4 and 2. Definitely 1 will not be coming because it gets incremented only by 2. It gets decremented only by 2. When it is going to get decremented only by 2, after 2, 2 minus 2 becomes 0, but the range is only in, it is in 1. So 6, 4 and 2 will get printed. In the next example, for ch in hello world, print ch dot upper, which means it will be printing in uppercase. When you give ch dot lower, it will print in lower case. Lower case in the sense it will print in small alphabets. ch dot upper will print in the capital alphabets. So hello world, in which already H and W are in capitals, but even then it will change it to the upper. So print ch dot upper, it is a built-in function. So that is the reason I open the braces, close the braces, and then for the ch, since I open, I am closing it. So since the default tab is the default is the new line, it is printing as hello world like this and without spaces. Now it prints all the characters in the string, converting them to the uppercase. So this is about range function. I suppose now you are clear with it. As far as this range is concerned, the syntax is pretty simple. It is a value, lower limit, upper limit, increment or decrement. So with that you work with the range function. Now the next topic is on the loop control statement. So far we have seen about the loop control structures. Now we have entered into the loop control statements. Loop control statements is classified into 3 types. One is the break, continue and the pass. As far as this break is concerned, when encountered inside the loop, it terminates the execution of the loop immediately. When you are working in, when you have a break, immediately it comes out. In your class, when you are listening to your lectures, and when the bell rings for a short recess, what do? Your class master, he stops the class, you move out of the class, you go in for a short recess. So that is where the break is. When you encounter the break, it comes out of the loop. So when encountered inside the loop, it terminates the execution of the loop immediately. The break statement transfers the program control to the next statement following the loop. Supposing if my second period is said to be Python in the class, and if my third period is said to be my PT, physical education period, wherein you are asked to play a football game, after at the stroke of the bell of the second hour, you come out, you go for some recess, and then you take your football and then you move out. You go into a different class, you go into a different activity, you do a different set of activity. Similarly here in break, it comes out of the loop and it carries out the activity that was mentioned, that is break. Now what is a continue? When encountered, it causes the loop to skip rest of the statements till end of the loop. When you say continue, what happens is that it will not consider the next set of statements, that is called continue. Now the third loop control statement is the pass. As far as this pass is concerned, it is a null statement. It does not do anything. Nothing happens when it executes. It is used when a statement is required syntactically, but do not want any command or code to execute. Then, my dear viewers, what is the use of this pass statement? Supposing if you are going to work with if you are going to do a code for gaming, if you are going to create a project for a car game, there you would have seen a screen stating it as loading, and you would have seen dot 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 dot, that is after 10 seconds of time or 5 seconds, whatever the programmer has mentioned, after that it gets loaded and it executes. Similarly, pass is a temporary break. It makes the program to stop or to pass. To pass in sense, it will not do any activity. It is used for delaying. It delays the activity and it delays the execution time. So, that is the usage of pass. Supposing if you are going to conduct if you are creating a code for a quiz program, wherein in the quiz program you are supposed to give at least 5 seconds time, even if it is of a rapid fire round, you are supposed to give 5 seconds time. So, this pass will make you give 5 seconds of time or 6 seconds of time based on whatever the coder has given. So, but it does not do any activity with respect to the code. It is a null statement. Now, let us see. Now, you tell me what may be the output of this particular code. I have mentioned a variable called about me. My dear viewers, kindly make a note of it. This is where you make a mistake. When I asked you people to code in the Python shell, what you do is you type it as about me, and when you write something, will this work? You will encounter an error. Why is it not working? Because I have written it as about underscore me. It is a common scenario, common problem that most of the programmers do is they forget to write this underscore. So, when you have two words as a variable name and when you want to club together, you are supposed to give a underscore in order to attach these two variables. So, about underscore me equal to, within double quotes I have typed it as Ganesh is a good boy. Now, for I in about me, what happens? Give a colon, print I comma end equal to, within quotes I give a comma, within quotes I give a comma. So, what will be my output? What was the default delimiter I said? The default delimiter is a new line. Kindly make a note of it, it is a very important question. The default delimiter in a print statement is a new line. If you want to change the delimiter, you are supposed to write like this: I comma end equal to, within quotes comma, and if I press an enter, what will be the output? I will be getting the output as, will I be getting Ganesh is a good boy? No, definitely not. I will get it as G comma A comma N comma E comma S comma H comma I comma S comma A comma G comma O comma O comma D comma B comma O comma Y comma, because even the last line you have this delimiter. So, this n determines at the delimiter. Kindly make a note of it, because in most of the textbooks almost in all the textbooks this default delimiter will not be specified at all. You would have not been, they would have not given how to specify here, or how to print it in a single line, or how to give a comma, or how to give a space. People would have not given. So kindly make a note of it. The default delimiters in new line, if you are going to give it as print I, if I am going to give it as print I, how will it print? It will be printing as like this, GANES HI, so on and so forth. So this is the default delimiter. Now I am going to give it as end equal to double quotes, comma and close the quotes. Now find out the answer for this. Get me the output. RES. What is this RES? It is result for you, but it is a variable name. The variable name was result, RES. RES I have initialized to 0. For I in range 40, 10, minus 2. What does it denote? 40 is the lower limit, 10 is the upper limit, minus 2 is the decrementer. So 40, 10, minus 2 is my value. If I mod of phi equal to 0 and give a colon, res equal to, because one and only if you give a colon only it will get indented, res equal to res plus 1, print res plus I, print res. What happens? My lower limit is 40, upper limit is 10 and I am decrementing it by minus 2. So what is the value that I have? I have the value as 40, 38, 36, 34, 32, 30, 28, so on up to 12. I have this many values. Now I give an internal condition, selection control structure. If I mod phi equal to 0, when you divide it by 5, when will you get the remainder as 0? When you have this 30, 40, 30, 20, you get the remainder as 0. So if it executes for multiples of 5, then you will be having it for 40, 30, 20. Now for I equal to 40, the resultant equal to 0 plus 40 equal to 40. For I equal to 30, resultant equal to 40 plus 30 equal to 70. Then for I equal to 40, the resultant equal to, already you have 70 plus 20, it becomes 90. So 40, 30 and 20 will be printed. How will it get printed? It will be printed like this. Now find out the answer for this. For n in range 2, 5, if n equal to 4, break. For I in 20, 10, 20, print n star I end equal to, what does it mean? So that it will print with spaces. So the output will be 20, 40 and then it goes over here 30 and 60. How will it work? Outer for loop is equivalent to, for n in 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. If n equal to 2, if block is skipped and inner for loop prints 20 and 40. If n equal to 3, then 30 and 60 is printed. If n equal to 4, it breaks and it comes out of the loop. So the statement gets terminated. That is the reason you get the output as 20, 40 and 30 and 60 with a spaces, because n equal to, I am giving some space. So as far as the next one is concerned, count equal to 0, value equal to 5, for count and range, 0 is the lower limit, 10 is the upper limit, I increment it by 3. If 3 equal to count, you continue. Value equal to value plus count, you print the value and I give a delimiter end equal to open quotes and close quotes. You get the answer as 5, 11 and 20. It is because the for loop at line number 3 is equivalent to for count 0, 3, 6, 9, because it gets incremented by 3, 3, 3. For the value of count equal to 0, the condition of if block at line number 4 is false and line number 5 is skipped. It is line number 6, 7 are executed and it prints 5. So that is the reason it prints 5. For the next value of count equal to 3, because the count value becomes 3, what happens? The condition of if block is true, hence it continues at line 5 is executed and the execution of the remainder section of the loop is skipped for the last iteration. For count equal to 6, line number 6 and 7 are executed and prints 11. So that is the reason it prints 11. Finally, the count becomes 9, line 6 and 7 it comes out and it executes and finally it prints 20. So that is the reason you get the answer as 5, 11 and 20. Hope you could understand this iterative control structure. Now let us summarize this session. We saw about the syntax of the while loop, we saw about the syntax of the for loop and the usage of the for loop, we saw about the range functions in the loops, we as well saw about the loop control statements such as break, continue and pass. Thank you.